Today we are going to build the 2012 domain controller. Before that we will build 2003 domain controller using DC promo command and DC promo. So like we are setting up few of the features that now 2012 does not. I am building 2003 so that we don't have to build 2000. We can compare what is the difference between 2012 and 2003. Here I provided the fully qualified domain name that will be master root domain. And this is by default database is saved. This is wall. Install DNS server also. DNS server is a primary content is required that static password should be supplied, but if you don't supply, then also when your server reboot and it picks from DHCP, then it will be difficult to have to all the DNS related changes will be failed. And DNS is one of the key feature that presently all the systems are using, so we must make sure that our DNS server is robust and highly available in the network. In case anything fails, then everything will be failed out. Just waiting to complete the task. In 2003, building DNS is very easy. Since it is VM, so easy to identify where the source will be. Browse. It's always better to copy the i386 folder, so that in future you want to set up something, you can easily set up. Like many of the installation require i386 folder, and sometimes the C drive is less, so it may require to we may require to clean up the i386 folder. That will give enough amount of space. Presently the configuration of DC promo is going on for 2003. Once 2003 setup is done, then we will proceed for the DC promotion of 2012. Why we are doing this? To show what all the FSMA roles exist on the 2003. In 2003 we need to take care of few of the things, like first thing will be we need to make sure that functional level is 2003, else we can't promote it to 2012. The main criteria is functional level of all domains should be at 2003 and higher, is easy to promote, but still 2003. If it is on 2000, then if you remember, I selected 2000 so that we can change how to change I can show you how to change the setting also. It will not take much of the time. Almost configuration is about to finish. Yeah, Here we go. Our first domain controller is built, and since it is VM, it will not take much time to reboot also. Let's wait for reboot. The best beneficial part of the VM is to have easy to reboot and easy to complete, easy to come up, and easy to restore also. But in domain controller we don't perform the restore since there is a time issue problem, so never restore from a snapshot. And now we have first domain controller in our network. Now we need to make sure that the first we need to check the IP of the host so that we can configure the DNS settings, so other domain controller can be added to this 2012 can be added to this network, and then we can demote this domain controller and promote that 2012 network domain controller. Here is the first DC in the environment, and since it takes the build group as enterprise admin, so we can add roles and features in case we want to enhance some other features, but presently we are proceeding with the DNS and Active Directory only. Later in later slides we will proceed with DHCP everything. Let's look at the IP 131. Now changing the IP of DNS IP to a new domain controller IP that will be 131. Right, so we are good with this. Now we can head this computer to the new domain controller. Let's keep pinging test2. Since it is normal computer right now, now we will be promoting it to domain controller. Once it is promoted to domain controller, then this object will move to domain controller section. In notification section, it will show as promote as domain controller. First we need to add, since roles is already added as domain controller, so it will not ask. Second level it will ask to promote as domain controller. Here we can promote this server as domain controller. Just little bit time it will take, because these settings looks good. So click next. User account message supplied. This is the error which I was telling earlier. So why I am showing you all the errors, so that we can have because can have where we need to fix it. Now go to raise functional level. This is the functional level. Raised. Okay, after raising we need to check the site and services. This is okay. Then domain and trust. Here we already raised current function level to 2003. Okay. This is good. Active Directory. This also looks good. So now we can start the promotion again, because it will now we are passed with the following. This is the DSRM password, which is known as restore password. So we must provide a password that may be required to restore domain controller. In future labs we will do that task also. Presently we have 2 domain controller only, but leave that as it is. And best part of the 2012 is it gives the feature PowerShell module also. If you are familiar with, if you are fan with PowerShell scripting, then you must copy this script so that it can be used for other domain controllers to execute it with small setting change. We are good to go. Once this is promoted, then we need to remove this host from the forest level, and this is only, let's see how things goes. So far looks good because report also was green. So we only 2 things major. One is that we need to take care while doing the installation. Is one is it should be functional level 2003 and above. And second thing, we need to provide the domain name, administrator name, so that it will not pick up from the which account you logged into. It will not take much of the time. 2012 is much faster than 2003. Boot up process is very fast. So let's see. It does not take much of the time. we are good with the part of the domain controller, and few of the message that need to be noticed, that it's notifying us that few function level need to be checked for application perspective. I say like some of the applications are not compatible with 2012, so they also need to be upgraded. uh, Here is the message, and here we go. It will, once it is rebooted back and the server is back, we will be having two domain controller, and meanwhile if we want to check, change will be, it will be updated here. The change went to domain controller, and here is the property. Right, looks so far good. And since it is 2012, so boot up process will be much faster. And in next class we will proceed with the DHCP, and then DNS, more detail about DNS server, and then we will proceed with the terminal services, application migration, and in future classes. Uh, Now this is also promoted as domain controller.